My name is Irene Martin. I'm an Episcopal priest, I'm a writer, and I fish with my husband on the Columbia River, and I've fished on Willapa Bay and in Alaska as well, particularly southeast Alaska. When I came here about 30 years ago, my husband's family had been in salmon fishing for 4 generations. I have come to realize over the years that this is a real basis not only for the family's economy, but for the community. And it's so much of the community gathers around that idea that salmon are part of what makes this community worthwhile and worth living in. Cathlamet has a population in town of about 640, and Wahkiakum County has a population of about 3,600 people. And very dependent, highly dependent on water-related activities, and in particular fisheries. When fishing, farming, and logging all started to implode, close to 20 years ago, we all began to recognize that things were not going to be the same. I think in these little communities like Cathlamet and Skamakaway and Grays River and Deep River and Ilwaco and Astoria and so forth, there's a tremendous sense of loss and of grieving, and I think there's a fair amount of depression. And I deal with a great deal of this, both in my own family, because my husband, of course, goes through all of this, and also as a clergy person, because I listen to a lot of people's stories. And it's hard to talk about. You feel in some respects you've been a failure, and that somehow or other, not only can't you make a living, but in the larger sense, you've failed to keep the river the way it was. You've seen a dramatic change in this area's ecology over the years due to the kinds of ecological changes that have gone on upriver, the kinds of physical structures that have gone in. In my opinion, there are a number of things that have to happen to bring the salmon back. First and foremost, we need to be looking at removal of the Snake River dams. We have simply not seen the benefits out of the dollars that are basically being squandered there. We've sort of taken each project that we've done separately and looked at the economic costs and the value and the dollars returned. But we haven't looked at incremental effects terribly well, and certainly natural capital, which is what salmon are considered, has really not been brought into play in this at all. But there's a direct correlation there between what is happening with the changes in the river and the kind of money you're having to expend in the lower river for social services, and they're not counted. There's a cost to society here that by and large is being completely ignored. The issues that I see going on are issues of people who have to leave their community to find a way to make a living. And since a lot of them know is fishing, they go to Alaska a lot. That leaves families here alone in the summers, and women having to basically keep everything going while the men are gone fishing. We operate the St. James Family Center, which is a large daycare, preschool. We provide a lot of family support to local families through our programs. We do a lot of grant writing to get the money to do this. We also operate the domestic violence shelter in the county. At the time we started this out, I think a lot of us, certainly myself included, thought this was going to be a short-term problem, that in fact things would turn around faster than they did. I think what we've recognized is that it's a long-term issue. But I'd be the first to tell you this is not a job I would want to do forever, that in fact at some point or another the community will rebound, the economy will rebound, so that in fact these services that are now vital will become less so. That to me is, would be the goal in my mind, is that somewhere down the road we're going to be able to look at healthier families and a healthier community emotionally and spiritually than what we now have. But we're not going to be able to do it without the salmon. That is extremely clear. We're not going to be able to do that.